All right, everybody, what's going on? This your boy C Wells coming at you with some more of that SWAC Smoke. I got my boy DJ over here. We're gonna go ahead and do a little something for y'all today. Wanna thank y'all for checking us out last week, and it's gonna be something hopefully we can keep doing. So DJ, you wanna drop a little bit on the people out there?
Yeah, thanks for supporting us. We're gonna have a lot more good content coming for y'all. So just stay tuned, stay locked in with us.
And we all SWAC all day. That's and like the banner said at the bottom, we bought smoke. We bring in smoke. We want smoke. We love smoke, and we here for it. So, I'm not gonna waste too much time, man. I, I had you. We had a topic to start with, but I wanted to start with something else real quick. I don't want to ambush you, but it came across the across Twitter about an hour or so ago. It's nothing major. It's just some fun stuff to kind of talk about real quick.
Okay.
The great the great Coach Sanders, let me call him by his correct name, the great Coach Sanders, that he was interested in hollering at the Big 12. He said he sent them a "Hey baby, you up?" message. So he said to get him a call, give Jackson State a call. I'm not really worried about nobody moving up to a conference like that, but I just wanted to ask you real quick before we get going. Really, the whole moving up to the big boys, moving up to FBS. How you feel about that if it was to happen?
Like I said last week, I'm really not into that, to be honest with you. Um, like I said, I just feel like it takes away from the culture and the whole HBCU experience as a whole. I mean, I could go into depth about the history and all of that too, but we ain't got time to go through all that. But I'm just not with it, to be honest. And I told you last week, I said I was fine with him as long as he wasn't coming for that. I told you it was coming though. I could see it.
That's why I went ahead and dropped that right now, because he just I don't know what time he posted it. I don't stalk people on Twitter, but I just saw it minutes ago. I was like, this is one of those things. We talked about it last week, like you said. You don't mess up something that's going good. But I just wanted to see I just wanted to throw that out there, because I mean, anytime he says something, everybody's gonna talk. So why not us? And this is a quick easy get the show rolling, get the juices going a little bit. But I don't want to talk about that too long, because that's been that's a horse that's been beat again and buried again. So there's plenty of time to talk about that kind of stuff. But I do on a sidebar, I do say best of luck to Oklahoma, and y'all gonna need it. Big 12 is not the SEC, and I'm gonna leave that at that. We had talked about going through our favorite players from our respective schools, and then throwing out some guys from other schools that we like to watch or enjoy it or whatever. Are you ready for that?
I'm ready for it.
All right, you want to start?
I can start with the top 5 from UAPB. No particular order.
All right, and I'll follow.
So I'm gonna go running back Martell Mallet, aka the Snake. I watched him through high school, through college, CFL. The man, I mean, he has great cup, rookie of the year in the CFL, awesome talent. I'm gonna go strong safety John Barnes, late 90s, probably like a Bob Sanders, if you know who that is. Cedric Bowen.
No doubt.
Cedric Bowen was a running back and return specialist, aka Mr. Excitement out of California. A little mini Barry Sanders. Then you had, of course, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say what time frame was he?
Cedric Bowen was early 2000s.
All right.
He wore number 1.
I was still in college. My brain cells were kind of gone.
Okay, yeah, he's a bad boy. If you get a chance, check him out on YouTube. Cedric Bowen, Bowen. I'm telling you, he's
Well, I
tough.
definitely will.
Number 4, I got, of course, Teron Armstead, left tackle
Oh
for the
yeah.
Saints.
That's,
He was a bad boy. And the last one, I have a receiver, Korea McKay out of Mississippi. He was mid 2000s, early to mid 2000s. Called him Big Play McKay. He reminds me of a Larry
all right.
Fitzgerald. He wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the biggest. He was sort of tall, but I mean, you throw the ball his way, he coming down with it. I promise you. But that rounds
Well,
out my top 5 players that I enjoyed.
I definitely remember Mallet running through Southern. Um, y'all had some players, man. Back in I know I don't know if his name was right, but I think you had a quarterback like in the late '90s, Robinson.
Rod Robinson. Yep.
Yeah,
Rod
we
Robinson. Yeah, he
played
was good.
we played Pine Bluff in '97. That was their first year in the SWAC in a triple overtime game at Southern. Dude, I didn't know nothing about Pine Bluff. I had seen Pine Bluff play like once before, like in like 1990, and I didn't know who y'all was, what y'all doing in our
Yeah.
conference. We won 36-33, I think it was, and we escaped. That was like the first overtime game I ever saw in college, and that dude put on a show, man. That name is etched in my memory. I was like, I know I don't want to say it and not be right, but I know who he is. He put on a
Right.
show. That team was good. Y'all had some good teams, in the early 2000s. We lost to y'all a few times, and most games was close a good while. Actually, the series has been pretty close for a while. A couple of blowouts here and there on both sides, but
Right.
I enjoy playing y'all. I only been up to Arkansas once, and that was when we played y'all in Little Rock one time. So I've never
Okay.
been to
Yeah.
Pine Bluff. That's like Pine Bluff and Bethune-Cookman are like the only two schools that I haven't been in the SWAC. So
Okay.
I got to make that trip somewhere someday.
Yeah. Definitely.
I heard y'all got some good turkey legs up there too.
Frazier. Yeah. Frazier's turkey leg and barbecue. Yeah. That's one of the main people in the city that do the turkey leg. Shout out to Emmanuel Frazier. He actually played for UAPB in early 2000s, tight end. But it was his dad
I'm gonna
who was famous for
have,
him at first, and then he took over the dad's business. So he still got it rolling. So you can go down there right now and get a turkey leg.
yeah, I don't know if you ever heard of the Jaguar Journal. It's like a local sports show in Baton Rouge.
Mm-mm.
Where one of the hosts is his name is Perry Whitey from Pine Bluff, and
Oh, I know Perry White.
he always talking about them turkey legs, man. Every time I listen to the show, he always talking about them turkey legs. So I got to get up there and get me one, because if it's like that, then I know we
Yeah,
can't go wrong.
I grew up with Perry White. Shout out to him too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Shout out to P White, man. That's my boy. I stop in on their show from time to time just to chop it up a little bit. But I'm gonna get into my list. My list is gonna be it's a mix of new. Again, like you said, no particular order. But, number one is Michael Hayes. He played at Southern in the late '90s, early 2000s. Big body receiver. Had pretty good speed, good leaping ability. 1 year he scored like 15 touchdowns. Tore his knee up because he tore his knee up when his senior year. Was able to come back and play fairly well, but he was a monster, big body, jump ball type receiver. Could go get it. Next, Willy Quinn. If you watch SWAC
Oh yeah,
football,
I know
Willy
Willy
Quinn, man.
Quinn.
That little dude was a monster, man. I remember when
That's a
Southern
bad
signed
boy.
him, we all was like, why y'all sign that 5'6" dude, man? What is he
Yeah.
gonna do? And then you watch him go in the field, man, and he drew attention everywhere he went on punt returns and
Yeah.
kick returns. He played Georgia in 2016. They punted the ball. He ran to the left to act like he was going to get the ball. The whole punt coverage unit went left with him, and the ball went right. And it went out of bounds. But he took everybody on the other side because nobody was not going to let him touch that ball. 10 guys followed him. Dude was amazing. He actually left Southern as the all-time leading receiver. He set kick return records. He was just exciting. He was exciting.
Yeah.
I used to enjoy watching him play. A guy from the '90s, running back Steve Wofford from California. He was one of the first 1,000-yard backs Southern had in quite some time. That was back when Southern had that. They think they won SWAC like 3 years in a row, 97, 98, 99. Well, he played in 96, 97, and 98. He was running back. Really good guy, man. Just, not the fastest back, but he could move and he can get out of jams real quick and pick up yardage, but a really steady back. Another guy, this is a guy that I just remember him from watching like old videos of coaching shows and stuff. He didn't put up any real crazy numbers, but he was an all-purpose type of guy. His name was Ronald Scott. He was from Thibodaux, Louisiana. He was a kick returner, running back. He did it all. That was back in the 80s when Southern was a very mediocre team. We wouldn't win but 5 or 6 games every year. But he put up good numbers, always was good for at least one big play a game. Usually not enough to help us win, but, it was entertaining. And my last one, Quincy Richard, quarterback, won SWAC in 2003. He started in 02 and then 03. Set a lot of records, single season records. That was one of the best offenses Southern ever had in 2003. He had 4 or 5 receivers that could catch the ball, 1,000-yard rush running back. Just a very explosive offense. If you guys haven't watched the 2003 Bayou Classic, him and Bruce Eugene, they put on a show. I can't remember the score, but I think both teams hit 40 points. Both quarterbacks. Crazy number. So if you haven't seen that game, check it out, because that was, if you like offense and you like to see the ball fill the air, that's a game that you really want to watch. So those are my top 5. If you want to share anybody from any other school you want, we can do that, because I got a few. I didn't go crazy with that. I just picked like 1 or 2 because I don't want to go nuts. I could go all day on people, but if you want to do that, we can do that.
Right. Hey, was that quarterback number 15?
Yep. Tall and slim.
Yeah,
he can throw that ball.
I remember him.
He can throw that ball.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you ready to get into these other schools?
Oh, yeah, we can go ahead and jump that off.
All right, so what I did, this is a little history lesson. So I picked a couple guys that were, pretty successful that come from HBCUs. For those who may not know, that we have Hall of Famers and things like that come from that from the SWAC as well. So I'm gonna kick it off with Alcorn State. Of course, we got Steve McNair, who may not know, came from Alcorn State. Donald Driver. That's another one that a lot of people don't know.
Nope.
He don't talk about it
That's
much.
A bad boy right now.
Yeah, he has a Super Bowl ring, 14 years in the league. He's in Green Bay Hall of Fame. We're going to go to Grambling State. Of course, you got Doug Williams. You got James Shaq Harris, 2 quarterbacks. And then I'm going to throw in Bruce Eugene, who broke records at Grambling State.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the best SWAC quarterback that I done seen come through during my time. To be honest with you, man, I was more of a Grambling fan than a PB fan. When I watched Bruce Eugene, when I was watching Bruce Eugene, I was all Grambling. I'm telling you, I love to watch Bruce Eugene play, man.
Man, that let me jump in real quick. That dude was the biggest quarterback I had ever seen in my life, but he could run and he could throw. If you watched him come on the field and warm up, you'd be like, man, what that big boy gonna do to us? Yeah. That can't be a quarterback, it must be a fullback or somebody. And then he dropped back, man, with the flick of a wrist, put that ball
strong
60 yards down the field. And if you let him get running with a head of speed, it's over with. So I just wanted to say that because Bruce earned my respect from day one when I finally saw him play. Because I heard people talk about him. And I was like, man, come on now. Y'all got to be kidding me. And he got done torching Southern. He torched Southern every year he played them. We got lucky and beat him a couple times, but he torched them every year when he played them. And he set, like you say, he set records at Grambling. So much respect to him. That's for sure.
Yeah. And behind those 2 quarterbacks I just named, Doug Williams and James Harris, I mean, Bruce Eugene, broke their records. The man had like 50 TDs to like 5 or 6 picks
Oh
in his
yeah.
career. He only threw 5 or 6 interceptions his whole career. I mean, that was a bad boy. But moving on, we got a safety, Ken Houston, back in 1967, coming out of PV, which was a 12-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first team All Pro, 10-time second team All Pro. You also have Quentin Bell. Shout out to Quentin Bell, who was the Super Bowl champion with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Oh
2019
yeah.
draft.
Salute.
Yeah,
Salute
yeah,
to him.
respect for that. Southern Jaguars. You might have some more to add to this list, but I picked out Anias Williams, 3rd round, 1995, 8-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first team All Pro. One of the best corners to ever do it. Mel Blount, 4-time Super Bowl champ, 1970 draft, NFL Defensive Player of the Year, AFC Defensive Player of the Year, NFL interception leader, 2-time first team All Pro. That's one of the best ever.
Oh yeah, one of the toughest cornerbacks. My dad used to talk about him all the time, man. He was a guy that he was one of those guys that they really kind of put the pass interference rule in place for, because if he got his hands on you, you're going down. So they had to even they had to even the playing field.
Right.
Bump and run with him, it was over. So you had to give receivers a chance.
Moving on to Texas Southern, of course, you got Michael Strahan, 1993, 2nd round, Super Bowl champ, NFL Defensive Player of the Year, 4-time first team All Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, 2-time sack leader. Then you had Ken Burrows from Texas Southern, 12-year veteran, 2-time Pro Bowler. Down to UAPB, Teron Armstead, 3rd round, 2013 draft, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2nd team All Pro, started 85 of 89 games in his career thus far. And we also got L.C. Greenwood, defensive end of the Steel Curtain, 4-time Super Bowl champ, 6-time Pro Bowler. And then just for an extra, I'm going to go Jamie Gillum, our punter for the Cleveland Browns. He's a starting punter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bad boy too.
Yeah, they call him like the golden leg or something like that.
The Hammer, Scottish Hammer.
Yeah, I knew it was some kind of nickname he had. The dude could kick though.
Mm-hmm.
And now y'all got a kicker with an unpronounceable name. I don't even pretend to try to pronounce his name, but y'all. So looking at my list, I didn't go as deep as you. I really should have, man. You burned me on that one. But I like that. I like dropping that knowledge, because we do have a lot of listeners who don't know a lot of SWAC history, and that's something I do want to touch on this show. But I kind of went a little bit of a different way. I just kind of went on guys that I saw myself play. And I saw a lot of those guys play because I'm old, except for like the 60s and 70s guys. But I just wanted to kind of touch on some people that I enjoy watching. Some of them are recent, some are older, some are like no doubt guys. But just a couple of people from Alabama A&M that I saw play. Obviously, Akil Glass, that dude's a beast at quarterback. I think he's gonna be an NFL draft prospect. Jordan Bentley was a running back the last couple of years. He was Mr. All Everything. He could run, catch. I think 2019, man, he had like almost 300 carries, and the next guy had like 100. He did it all, catch the ball. John Stallworth, Hall of Famer, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Of course. Yep.
They had Nick and Kelsey Luke, quarterback running back combo, brothers in the early 2000s. They came in 98 and they set the SWAC on fire. When they came in, they weren't playing. We went to Huntsville in 98 for their homecoming, and we left with a loss because they ran the triple option, and so they had no clue how to defend it. Luckily, that was not a SWAC game officially, so we had a long SWAC winning streak that continued. But they beat us, and they talked trash all night when we went to eat dinner at Ryan's. they talk trash to us all night. Alabama State, a guy I used to enjoy. Oh, go ahead.
Let me throw one more in to Alabama A&M. You can't leave him out. Robert Mathis, Indianapolis Colts, long-time defensive end.
His name was escaping my mind. I wanted to throw him in there, but his name was escaping my mind. 2002 Circle City Classic, Southern Alabama A&M. Their defense tore us up. Scored like 29 and 11 or something like that. We could not do nothing with them. Robert Mathis, big time baller.
Yes,
Alabama
sir.
State, a guy that I enjoy watching was quarterback Darnell Kennedy. He started at Alabama State from his freshman year to his senior year. He left there as the all-time leading passer. He was a slim kid, but he had a great arm. He could run, but he didn't really run that much. But he could really run. Tavares Jackson, quarterback,
Yes,
rest in
sir.
peace. 2004, 2003, 2004. Um, really good guy. Came from Arkansas, and just was tore it up in the SWAC. Had a
Yes,
nice
sir.
little run in the NFL. Keldrick Williams was the running back that year back there with him. That was a really strong team. They had a good defense. Guy Rock Dillon was a linebacker, safety type of guy. Knock your block off. Um, Brad Baxter, that's a guy who played back in the '80s. He was a running back. He played in the '80s at Alabama State. He was a big time running back for them. Bethune-Cookman, I don't have a lot of names. Rashawn Mathis, he was a defensive back. He played big time NFL guy with the Jaguars. A guy that I enjoy watching when Bethune-Cookman went on their resurgence in like 97, 98 under Coach Alvin Wyatt, who looks like Steve Harvey. If you ain't never seen him, he got the big Steve Harvey mustache. He used to wear them linen suits on the sideline with BCC on the front of it. Dude was always sharp at the Florida Classic, but he turned that program around in the late '90s. They had a quarterback named Patel Troutman. He was more of an option type of guy, but he almost single-handedly carried that team to a Heritage Bowl in '98, and that was a guy that really turned that program around. Uh, FAMU, I'm just gonna say a name. If I'm gonna say a nickname, if FAMU people recognize it, they know the Rack Boys, Nunnally and Lamb. Oh man, those two receivers in the late '90s, they put in work, man. Jaquay Nunnally broke Jerry Rice's touchdown record. In Mumford Stadium, they beat us 65-18 in 1999, so I don't really have a lot of fondness for the Rattlers, but Earl Holmes, linebacker Steelers, dude was a tackling machine at FAMU. I swear he had 30 tackles in a game. He was all over the place. Moving on to Jackson State, you can't talk Jackson State without saying Jackie Slater, Hall of Famer, Walter Payton. You could say I like Mark Washington. That's a guy that came in the late '90s. Destry Wright, Sylvester Morris, T.C. Taylor. He didn't play a lot, but he really had some things. Robert Kent, Casey Terrio, quarterback, the
Oh
White
yeah.
Tiger. You can't go wrong, man. Casey was a monster. Rico Richardson, wide receiver. Um, Rashad Anderson,
Jimmy
defensive
Smith.
back. Jimmy Smith, yep. State, obviously, man, they have I think 4 Hall of Famers, more than like the
Yeah.
University of Florida and a bunch of other major schools. So
Yeah.
you cannot talk SWAC football without talking Jackson State. Jackson State is a historical program. I do want to throw out a little sidebar because I like to throw everything that I say typically ties into my life experience. I have that problem. I can't help it. We went a long time in Jackson Southern went a long time in Jackson without ever scoring a touchdown. We would go to Jackson every other year and come home with 0 points. And the PA announcer every year he would say, Jackson State 35, Southern zip, and the stadium would go crazy. And I cried because I was like 6, 7 years old. I cried because I hated going there and knowing we wasn't going to ever score. We scored our first touchdown in Jackson in a long time in 1985 against Mississippi Valley. We scored 1 touchdown in that game and lost. Speaking of Valley, obviously Titan and Rice. You can't talk Jackson State without talking Titan and Rice. A guy that I had the privilege of seeing Jerry Rice play once in my life, and their offense was ahead of its time. 4 wide receivers lined up behind each other. Like they do a lot of spread sets today. They ran that stuff. Archie Cooley ran that stuff years ago. You can say Carl Bynum was a running back at Valley. Julian Stafford was a wide receiver in the early 2000s. Valley was bad, but this dude put up crazy all-purpose numbers, receiving numbers. A guy that's playing now, Jared Garner, defensive lineman, he's a monster. I think if it wasn't for Jordan Lewis at Southern, he would probably be easily SWAC Defensive Player of the Year as a defensive lineman because he carries that defense. And that's just that's just a tip of the iceberg. Like you said, we could do a 9-hour show on this. I mean, we'll pass out, but we could do a 9-hour show on this and still not touch on all the greats that came out of this league. Like I said, we didn't even, we didn't even talk about a lot of people. And I really want people to look at the SWAC and recognize what we bring to the table because it's a lot of history in this league.
Right. Facts. Yeah, I kept my list of 2 people per team. And that was hard to do because I'm like, you talking Grambling, how I'm gonna keep it to 2 people? You know what I'm saying? You talking some of these schools. Exactly. I mean, I even got more from UAPB. Dante Wesley, NFL 10 years. I got other guys to talk about too, but like you said, for the sake of the show, we ain't gonna keep y'all all day on that. But that's to give y'all enough to really make you hungry and go search for more. Information's out there. You just got to be willing to get it. It's there.
Oh yeah. And if y'all have any suggestions or anybody we left out, drop it in the comments because I like to see what everybody else got to say because some people don't remember certain people or they remember people that I never heard of, and that's the beauty of HBCU football, man. It's history. You can't enjoy what you have today without knowing where it came from.
Where it came from.
Years ago when Prairie dominating the SWAC in the 60s, my dad played at Valley. He was just a guy. He wasn't no baller. He gonna kill me for that, but he wasn't like a star. He was just an offensive lineman. But he used to say how Valley and Jackson would whip up on them every year. But those, you look at the all-time greats and your jaw drops at the name that's on there.
Yes, sir. I like to be educated too. You know what I mean? I don't know everything, so enlighten me, please. And another thing, of course, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Now I was about to kind of switch gears. One thing before we get off here, I want to talk to you on the air about Shadeur Sanders' comments. I want to know what's your thoughts on that because I got a lot to say. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you take it first.
Okay, I'm not gonna go long since you say you got a lot to say. I'm just gonna say, and pardon my French, speak your shit, young man. Now I don't agree with saying what you say, but if you say it, you gotta stand by it. I don't like bulletin board material, and media day is you can say what you want in front of each other, but I personally I don't agree that a freshman should be there. That's number one. People put mics in his face and he talk because his dad is on stage saying we respect everybody and it's all SWAC love, and then you saying this, so there's a malfunction in the junction somewhere. But if you say it, then hey, you're gonna have to live with it. Now he can come out and prove everybody right, or he can come out and have it thrown in his face. So I'm interested. I mean, I already was interested, but now I really want to see how people approach this because everybody not taking this like like a laughing matter. I know some people that were highly upset. I laughed, but I know a few people that were seriously upset. So I'm a step off from there and let you take the flow because I want to hear what you got to say.
No, you good, but the problem that I have with it is, first of all, you ain't took no snaps in the SWAC. You ain't played a down in the game. You ain't played a down as a college football player. Number two, you play in the SWAC. Regardless if you made a choice to come there or not, that's your choice. You don't have to try to put everybody else down for a choice you made. That's like you going to your job saying, oh, I'm different. I chose to come here. Y'all had to come here. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that. On top of that, it's not like you was committed to a Power 5 school. You was committed to Florida Atlantic, which is a mid-major. No disrespect to that. No disrespect to you as a talent. But it's not like everybody on your team had 1,000 offers of Power 5 schools and they turned it down. There's a reason why people are not at Power 5 schools. When people transfer down, it's a reason why they transfer down. Not to take away from their talent, but there's a reason why you transferred away, first of all. And there's other people on other teams who've had opportunities at Power 5s or mid-majors that chose to go to Alabama A&M, Alabama State. Y'all team is not the only team that has those type of players on it. And every person on Jackson State roster didn't have those opportunities. I don't care what he says. I don't care how many transfers you get. Every single player on your team didn't have a million opportunities. So what you're saying doesn't really add up to me, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these other schools are getting people from Power 5s and mid-majors too. Jackson State not the only team. So that's the biggest problems I have with what he said. But like you said, I mean, he has a right to speak that. But I'm like you. If I'm Jackson State PR person, I'm not letting somebody who hadn't played it down come in and start talking like that. I mean, because I don't know what kind of message is going on in the locker room. But like you said, it's got to be conflicting because Deion claiming he respects everybody. But evidently some kind of conversation is going on where they feel like they're better than everybody else because of, opportunities that they may have had. And also, before I get done, I've seen players come from Power 5 schools into the SWAC and don't dominate. You see what I'm saying? You're only as good as the people that's around you.
I've seen it too. Texas Southern had 2 Power 5 quarterbacks come to their school and they didn't win anything. Bobby Reed came from Oklahoma State. Yep. If y'all remember the Mike Gundy, I'm a man, I'm 40 rant, that was about Bobby Reed as quarterback. A reporter was bad-mouthing him. Stuff with the Texas Southern, they didn't win anything. DeAndre Johnson went from Florida State to EMCC, Last Chance U, to Texas Southern. I think with FAU first and then Texas Southern. Yeah. They went winless. We had a guy named Victor Ike that played at Texas. He was Mr. All Everything coming out of high school, played at Texas a little bit, came to Southern, didn't do anything. Now you do have, like you said, you do have your successes, but just because you went Power 5 don't automatically mean you're gonna ball in the SWAC.
Don't.
But I do want to say one thing before I leave this alone. I heard somebody say one time that you had to be careful how you talk about your opposition. If you say your opposition is trash, then you can't lose to them because then you lost to trash. If you say your opposition is trash and you beat them, you don't get no credit because you just beat trash. So that's why you can talk all the noise you want. You can say we're going to beat y'all by 60 points. Y'all ain't seen the receivers we got. Y'all ain't seen the defensive line. They're going to be picking y'all quarterback up off the ground every play. We don't know if y'all going to have enough players to finish the game. You can say all of that. But the minute you say that guys aren't talented, you can't lose. You have to win. Yeah. And you have to beat them by at least 30, 40 points. You have to. Because if you play close games or you lose, that's a wrap. Your credibility is gone. And I know, he don't care about that, but, I'm a person that watch this kind of stuff. So, I'm always interested in it because a lot of times when people talk trash, it don't work out for you. I'm going to throw out one last example and then I'm going to leave it alone. In 2013, Southern was getting ready to play Northwestern State. We had a linebacker say that Northwestern State was horrible. We was going to wipe the field with them. Now, keep in mind, we just came off of a 5-6 season and had fired our coach in the middle of the season. We got beat like 51-10 or something like that. Them boys was highly upset, and they blew us out. Now, you don't always need words to get you going, but that extra little motivation might, hey, you go out the pass, somebody might take an extra step. I'm not advocating that kind of stuff, but it happens. So we're gonna find out, what he made of and what he can do because he definitely put all the eyes on him, and I'm interested now. I mean, I already was, but it just ramped up now. So
I'm itching for the Orange Blossom Classic or something like that.
Yep.
I'm
September
interested.
5th, 3:00.
I can't wait. You know what I'm saying? I'm not wishing nothing bad on them, but at the same time, it's like you got to learn. You know what I'm saying? You can't certain things. You just got to learn. You got to learn on your own.
Oh yeah, and like they say, put you out. You either gonna sink or swim. Right now, he not really sinking. He treading water a little bit, but if he goes on and has a great career, then everybody gonna look at it and be like, man, he called his shot.
Right.
You know, I wish him nothing. I wish him nothing but the best, except on November 13th. That's it. He
Yeah.
can do whatever he wants. November 13th. I hope he throw 9 interceptions. But you know, I don't want to see nobody fail. I want to see everybody succeed. Let's keep it. You know, let's keep it positive. I want to
Oh
keep
yeah,
it
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But you know, we can always talk a little trash. That's why we talking smoke. You know, so
Right.
we
Yeah.
we just having fun, everybody. I don't want no Jackson State people out there to get upset because sometimes especially those new Jackson State people. I don't even
Yeah.
know if y'all really Jackson State people, but those new people out there, don't take it too serious, man. This is SWAC football. We talk trash. I've been at games that old ladies talk trash to you. So if you can't handle it, you might want to sit out at the top of the bleachers or something, stand outside and watch. But we're gonna have a good time with this show, man. So we're gonna come back again next week. I got a topic I want to do next week.
Okay.
I want to talk about you've been to quite a few games in different environments, right?
Right. Right. Right.
So I want to talk about your favorite place and your least favorite place
Okay.
because I know that can stir up a couple of things, and I my least favorite place. I'm not going to really tear it down, but I'm going to say a couple of things about it. So we'll talk about that next week. Before we get up out of here, I don't know if I asked you this last week. I don't have a good memory, so bear with me. I heard some people talk about this. Man, who are y'all rivals? And I'm not being, and
Me?
I'm not trying to talk trash.
No.
I'm being serious.
No. I mean, to be honest, we don't have a set in stone rival. For a while, it was Valley, just because we were at the bottom and they was at the bottom, so we'd be battling for who's not going to be last in the West. But we don't. Pretty much every team we play, to be honest, is a rival. Because I mean, it's not a Southern, Grambling, State, A&M. We don't have anything like that.
Yeah, and it's like y'all kind of like up there, because like you
Yeah, we
said,
by ourselves. Yeah,
everybody kind of share a state,
yeah,
and y'all kind of up there. The league tried to put y'all together. That's a horrible fit. But I just had to ask a Pine Bluff person because I always say Valley, but I don't like to speak for nobody. I like to hear from the person himself. So y'all heard it here. Everybody a rival. Everybody can get their work from Pine Bluff. That's how they feel.
yeah. That's
And
how
they,
we
they
feel
when
for
they
sure.
ready, they bring it.
Yes, sir.
All right, so
Well,
we about to wrap this up. You got any other things you want to say before we get out of here?
just piggyback on what you said with the Jackson State thing. Like, notice I said I respect his talent. With all due respect, everything I had to say about Shadeur Sanders, I respect him. I respect his talent, but I didn't like what he said. So, like you said, Jackson State, don't get too upset. I can disagree with what somebody say, and I'm showing SWAC love. I'm repping Alabama State, other side, Alabama State shirt today. So, I mean, I love the SWAC. You know what I mean? There's no hate here.
Yeah, I love the swag too, but he doing something I can't do, man. I can't wear nobody else's shirt. My body don't feel right. But that's why I keep these behind me.
Yeah.
I love everybody, man, but my body it rejects that kind of stuff. But everybody, and I'm gonna leave on this, like you said, it's all respect to every player. Cause some of y'all be talking about my quarterback. I don't take it personal. I didn't hear people say the boy ain't got no arm at all, literally. All he could do is run. You put him on the field, you lose. I don't take that personally, man. It's all a game, man. Everybody out there trying to accomplish the same goal. At the end of the day, it's all about SWAC love. And we're going to love, but we're going to also have a little fun and talk some trash. So with that being said, I'm C. Wells signing out.
All right, I'm DJ signing out, and we're gonna get into a little bit more about your quarterback next week. That's homegrown, that's near and dear to my heart, so we can definitely get into that too.
All right, that's good. I love Skelton. I don't always like him. We're
I
gonna
got
leave
you.
on that note.
I got you. All right, man.
So we'll holler at y'all next week.
Peace.